Hello, and welcome back to another exciting episodes of Professionals in the Steubenville area. My name is Andrew Matzorkis, and today I'm here with David Thacker. We have a bit of a different episode today, as David is coming from Tiffin, Ohio. David, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for taking the time. So, for the audience, do you mind telling us what your business is?
So the name of my company is River Rat Jet Boats. We are located in Tiffin, Ohio. It's about 3 hours from Steubenville. We manufacture and sell small aluminum jet boats for shallow water adventures.
Awesome. So, throughout starting this business, what would you say is the most important element in how you formed your way up to where you are today?
I've been in the manufacturing industry, welding, fabrication for many years. I ended up in sales as I got older in the company that I work for. And the boat thing came about with a need. The rivers that go through Tiffin, Ohio are very shallow,
Mhm.
and you can't use them for boating because they're so shallow. And I saw a video on YouTube in New Zealand. They have a lot of
Wow.
shallow rivers in New Zealand, and they develop boats over there to be able to run those waters. So after about a 6-month investigation, I figured out how and where to build one of these things. So I built one for myself so that I could use it in the shallow rivers in Ohio.
Awesome. Awesome. So, when you first started, and we ask everyone this, when you first started, what were your first main goals to get started? Was it just to make money? Was it to just start yourself out? What did that look
For me
like?
personally, it actually started out as a hobby. Just was a personal need that I needed something like this, and so I built one for myself. And then after I built the first one and ran it for about a year, I knew I could do things differently to make it better. So I put that one for sale, and I started building myself a second one. And when I put it for sale, I had a lot of interest. Put it on Facebook Marketplace,
Very good.
overwhelming interest in buying my boat, and so it kind of snowballed from there. We just had a lot of people that wanted something like that, so I started building them in the evenings while working my day job, and it just kept growing and growing and got to the point where I had to give up my day job. And I decided that with people that were helping me, we all decided as a group that it was busy enough to start our own business, so that's what we did.
Awesome. So, when you first started, because, and this is another question that we ask, it seems today that it's very hard to start and get off the ground. So what were your biggest struggles going through the beginning? And you talk about like rivers that were being shallow, like some places it's hard to make those boats or it's not like compatible with the rivers. So was that a struggle, or what would you say that your biggest struggle
No,
was?
I think the biggest struggle in starting a new business is, I guess a lot of people call it the red tape. There's a lot of, you know, guidelines and rules that you have to follow through the city, especially when you're dealing with boats. You got the U.S. Coast Guard
Mm,
certifications. So I would say that was probably the first big struggle that I had in selling boats commercially, was making sure that I was following all the regulations that needed to happen per the U.S. Coast Guard and federal government.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we talk about that, and I'm sure there are struggles that pop up, like every day, just in the job. So like, what makes it that helps you deal with those struggles on a day-to-day basis? Is it just getting out, working, trying to improve the business, or what's another way of coping with just some regular problems that you run into?
I mean, just probably like any business, sales is your number one goal, right? You gotta have the sales to make the business work. So getting out there and finding the people that need a boat like this would probably be some of the harder struggles that I had in the beginning. Social media has been very good for that, and getting out there and going places with a boat that most people don't normally see boats. You see boats on the Ohio River all the
Right.
time, but other rivers in the area like the Tuscarawas, you
Mm,
don't see many boats on. So we tend to take a couple of our boats and run those rivers and meet people in the area. So I'd say sales is probably another um, hard but necessary thing to do in business.
right.
Yeah.
So you talk about sales. So I'm just curious for myself. Are, is there a way that you strategize the sales? Because I mean, are there different models of boats that you make, or what type of people do you target to, potentially get that sale?
Yeah, so that was another thing that we learned. Even though I build boats, the marine industry really isn't our typical sales. People that like to spend time on the water in the lake, people that have boats on the Ohio River, aren't my typical customers. My typical customers tend to be explorers, off-roaders, people with ATVs, side-by-sides. The way these boats work, being that they run in shallow water, you can run in creeks, for miles upriver. Sometimes you get stuck just like you
Mm-hmm.
would in a four-wheeler. You have to get unstuck and get back going
Right.
again. So it's more of an adventurous type boating than it is a pleasure boating.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's we've started to market more towards your off-road. We did a couple conventions and expos, and we went to the like Jeeps and four-wheelers and side-by-sides rather than say a boat
Okay. Yeah.
show.
Awesome. So, and you said that you've just branched out to try to go to those conventions, right? What are those like when you try to pitch a boat type of company to a vehicle, heavily vehicle
Yeah.
convention?
So the first one was a little bit scary because I didn't know how it would be received
Yeah.
at the thing. But the first one that we went to was in Dayton, Ohio, the Dayton Off-Road Expo, and it was a huge success. We actually took first place in Best of Show
Oh,
with one of our boats.
nice.
Yeah, so it really was a huge success. So we were really happy with how that came out. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, and then going back to getting started, who would you say was your biggest role model? Was it yourself? Was it anybody that you looked up to?
Yeah, the company that I worked for previously, I was a sales manager role, so I had a pretty high up role in the company, and the owner of that company, I got along with really well, and he was kind of a mentor to help me get where I am today, and the stuff that I learned from working with him. So just years of experience and the jobs that I'd had in the past really got me to the point where I was able to start my own business.
Awesome. So, and one more question that I ask everyone this. Uh, what is more important in your mind for starting a business and growing, uh, branching off and getting bigger? Consistency or motivation?
Motivation, yeah. Probably the big surprise to me was everybody thinks that having your own business, you've got a lot of free time, you get to pick your own hours, but you find out that you actually work a lot more hours when you own your own business because there is
Yeah.
no off time.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a vacation, there's no one there to do your job if you own your
Right.
own business. So your vacations are you still working during those vacations.
Right.
It has its advantages that you are able to take vacations and do some work, but um, a lot of when you're working for someone else, a lot of times when you leave for the week, they fill someone in
Right.
your shoes to do your work. When you
Yeah,
have
it
your own
doesn't happen.
business, it's all you.
Yeah.
So motivation, you have to be big motivated, and uh, trying to juggle family time with work
Mm.
time to keep your business going and
Right.
maintain your family life. It's been a learning curve.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate that my family was older when I started it. The kids
Mm-hmm.
were older, so it didn't require as much attention. So,
Right.
if
Yeah.
you're younger, you want to have your business going before you get your family started
Yeah.
because it's a big job.
So, and last question, is there any piece of advice that you would like to give young and upcoming professionals that maybe want to start a business or start their own, potential startup?
I just say, always follow your dreams. Finances have a lot to do with if you can do something that you love and make money.
Mhm.
That's success in life. It's not about how much money you make, as more as enjoying what you do to make the money you need to survive. I think that's something that every young entrepreneur needs to know is if you're just out there to get the money, it probably won't be very successful. You have to really enjoy what you're doing, and the money will come from that.
Awesome. What is the best way for people to learn about your business and what kind of boats do you sell?
So I would recommend that you can go to our website. It's riverratjetboats.com or Instagram. We also have a Facebook page. We have a lot of videos on Facebook that show just what these boats are capable of doing. A lot of times it helps to see one in action to know exactly what we're talking about because it's kind of hard to perceive a boat that can run in 2 inches of water
Yeah.
without actually seeing it. So
Awesome. David, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you come back for another episodes of Professionals in Steubenville area.